you ever wondered what
Killed your marriage to Steph in '03?
First of all, I was married to Bridget in '03.
January 1st, I'm out of here.
You realize the phase after retirement looks a little bit like this?
You quit school, you quit work.
Dad?
Great talking to you.
I just want to do something big, you know?
We need a little adventure.
I'm doing a big year.
A year to do all the things we never could.
Now,
You'd think they'd be exhausted by now.
Race to the bottom?
they're turning their quest
They're men, dear. If they ever stop competing, they die.
into the ultimate competition.
This is my year. I'm going to make my mark.
I make this promise to you now that I will not at any point during this review do a for the birds joke. I promise. Does that count?
No, that doesn't count.
Okay.
And I'm holding you to that promise.
Oh no, believe me. No, I'm just winging it here. So, but I'm not going to go with it.
If I had hands right now, I'd be scratching my head because I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? What's going on?
Well,
Leon, fill me in.
Because we're reviewing the movie The Big Year, which is about the subject that I think that every American wants to know more about: people who competitively count the number of birds they see each year.
Yeah. And
Wow.
here's the thing you got to know, co-host. Okay, this can get competitive, but people get into this. They spend thousands upon $1,000 traveling the country to spot birds. You spot a bird, you don't log it into a website. You don't have to take a picture of it.
Nope.
All you got to do is see it, write it down in a book, and it counts.
Yes. And
Wow. Yeah. You know, there used to be a place where you used to be able to do that. It was called the Looney Bin. I mean, that's fucking crazy.
Oh, you can
Now,
still
granted,
do
there
it
are birds called loons.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how many of those were in loony bins.
Yeah. Take me around the country and I'll count those crazy people, all right? Instead of the birds. But yeah, that's what this movie's about.
Well, it's
then?
funny watching this. You would think that there has to be masses of people who do this, because there'll be like points where like there's some weather phenomenon that means there's going to be lots of birds in some place, and it looks like there's just thousands of people descending on the place, and you're
Yeah.
like, really?
Well,
Really, The Big Year?
I don't know. It's one of these things where like this whole, I don't know if you call it a sport or a hobby. It's
Or
one
something stupid. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, okay, you watch this movie, and it focuses on three guys who are into it. You got Steve Martin as he's Stu. He's owned his own company. He's he knows how to run things. Like when he leaves the company, he kind of wants to retire. But you got Joel McHale and Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak.
They're like his two underlings. They're like, you can't leave now. We got a big deal. You're the only one who can settle. He's like, guys, leave me alone.
I'm going to see birds.
I'm going to watch birds.
Okay.
Well, he's in fact not just going to watch birds. He's going to do the titular action, The Big Year, which is in birding terms means you're going for the record.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can go look and write down birds all you want casually, and a lot of people do that. And it's all about hey, everybody trusts each other. They do it for sport. But if you decide you can have a big year, that means you are going for it.
You got 365 days to beat the all-time record, which is held by
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson's character is Kenny Bostic, who a couple years back, I think it was 728 is what they said it was
Something
at one
like
point.
that.
And everyone's like, ooh, he's the greatest birder.
Yeah.
They call each
Birder.
other birders.
I mean, it's almost like
all time.
there's people who hate him. They're like, oh, it's Bostic again. Because Bostic is willing to go that extra mile to see his birds. You know, he psychs other birders out. He'll get like the ship's captain to Angelica Houston is running the ship where she's taking people out. She said, look at the whale. He's like, lady, fuck that whale. Get over there so we can see these birds right now.
He leads a mutiny.
Yeah, he leads a mutiny to get his way.
And he's in a weird position now because even though technically he had told his new wife, Rosamund Pike, who's pregnant with his child, that like, no,
she's trying to get pregnant.
Well, no, she is pregnant at the start of the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Says like, no, I'm done professionally birding. Like you got all that money, and now I'm just going out to see what's going on and gauge the year to make sure nobody else is trying to beat my record. And his whole thing is like that would have been fine, except that you not only have he discovers Stu with Steve Martin out there actively trying to break his record, but you have Jack Black,
the newcomer,
the new kid who's just who's literally he's like a 36-year-old kind of a loser. His dad is Brian Denny. He's like, you'll never come to any good. And he's his dream is to do this for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a prodigy. He's like this guy who's like, he for fun, he listens to bird calls. I mean, this is like on his headphones at work.
Well, yeah, because he's Jack Black with Tenacious D, he knows music. So he can spot the sound of a bird. Like he can hear any bird and know what it is.
Yeah.
So that helps him to track these birds down.
I'm sure he read that script like, that's me. That's my character right there. Wow. So Steve Martin, Jack Black, and Owen Wilson, the killers of comedy. These guys who've been killing comedy ever since their most, like, the coolest careers that they could have possibly had. It seems like a movie like this, where I have not heard of this film at all, not a peep. And I can understand, because it's about bird watching, where I'm like, wow, Hollywood, bird watching, we've gotten that low. I mean, wow, no more remakes, huh? Did we finish that whole lineup?
Now see,
right? Can we please go back to the remakes?
Now, see, you think that, because I certainly walked in with that attitude, just the same exact one you got. I'm like, man, I'm sick of. I've reached a point where I'm kind of sick of seeing the movies that these guys make separately. Don't want to see them together. This movie's been dumped. It's probably cheap. It's probably like a Farrelly Brothers movie, just trying to be as raunchy as it can.
Yeah, the trailer's selling it as yet another one of those goofy, oh, I fell over movies. You know.
Yeah. It turns out it's complete opposite on every one of those points.
Yeah, it's barely qualifies as a comedy, really. It's like light comedy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one. I would sum it. It's easily one of those movies you would go with your parents to see.
Oh, that's the very definition of this film.
But it's like, it's enjoyable. It's like it's never reaching that high. It's never trying to be a goofy comedy. But you do genuinely like these three characters. Even Owen Wilson, who they seem to almost make a villain because of how everybody dislikes him. But you can't even not like him.
Well,
he's not a bad person.
Can't take our eyes off the ball. You think he lets anything slow him down? I made work my priority and I missed the boat. You got your feelings hurt and you almost quit. No more, Brad. Think like him, act like him. One of us has to beat this SOB. Yeah. Yeah!
The whole film has an attitude of just being generally amiable, you know? And like I said, it sets up Owen Wilson a little bit as the bad guy, but you do know just enough about each character and whatever their situation going on in their own life is to feel like you like each one of them in their own way. And even Owen, like I said, Owen Wilson, if anything, is the not villain, but maybe the antagonist. But sorta. Even so, at the end, you just kind of feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
You know, more than anything.
You're just sorry for all these people involved in this bird craziness.
Well, see, okay, that is one thing. Like, normally with a movie like this, where they take something that you don't know anything about, and you kind of come into it like, what? And they'll eventually like sell you on it, where you get to go like, okay, I kind of see. All right, maybe. I gotta say, for the hour and a half this movie was on, that I enjoyed it. There was nothing about it that made me go like, yeah, this bird watching is something I would want to do.
No,
not at all. Because I mean, okay, Jack Black, like Stu is rich. You know, he's like I said, he owns his own corporation that's about to be sold to somebody else. He's ready to retire. So for him, doing this is no big deal. And Bostic, he's a champion, so he's world famous. So yeah, he got his shit down. Now Jack Black, as Cyrus pointed out, he's a 36-year-old divorced loser. He's not quite living with his family, but he's dependent on his family for money.
Yeah,
his dad is Brian Dennehy, who's like, you doing what now? And just every time
my character,
and every time it comes back to that, like, come on, Dad, I'm trying to do something. It's like, you're trying to do what?
Well,
and what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, watch TV like me.
The thing is,
like a decent person.
You can't help but sympathize with his dad too, because he's like, well, does it make money? He's like, well, no. Like, what happens if you win? Do you get money then? Well, no. So why are you doing it? Well, because it's my dream. And I know I'd be like, look, kid, that's great and all. What you do is you get a job that pays a lot of money until you can save that money and take a vacation for your dream. And Anthony, don't come to me asking me for $5,000.
I would just drown him.
Anthony Anderson is his boss. He's asking like, hey, can I take some personal time off? He's like,
so yeah, how about the rest of your life?
Yeah, he's like, look, if I didn't need you, if I didn't need your skill right now, I would fire you. You want to do what? Watch birds? And you can't, plus, to see these birds, to do this, but besides spending all this money